Hi everyone and welcome to the Gentleman's Talk. So much to talk about. Here I am on Sunday, my favourite day of the week. It's where I get to relax, I get to reflect, I get to analyse and really think about what's happened over the week. And do you know what? There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of positivity. Yes, there's ups and downs, but I really look forward to these times of the week because it's just become routine for me. This has just become the norm. It's really nice, and to the point where I even planned my day. So I woke up this morning and I knew that I was going to be going playing golf, and I had some DIY to do. I then I'd already arranged to play. It sounds a bit coy, a bit sort of kind of funny, 40-year-old man, but I was playing Mario Golf with my friend as well this afternoon. That tied in with my podcast, and then I've got some other little bits and bobs to tie up. So it's been an absolutely chaotic day. But because I knew I was doing this has become my fun aspect. This has become me jumping in front of a camera. I'm here in my hoodie. Other oversized jumpers are available, and I'm just relaxing. I'm just talking, and I feel really content. And that word content is something that we don't really use a lot of. You don't hear a lot of people these days saying I'm content, do you? A lot of the time you hear people moaning, or mental health just becomes, it's everywhere. It's almost an epidemic. It's almost like a pandemic of mental health problems. And it's weird how we use those similar words. We say pandemic, epidemic. These aren't big words we used to hear, and now all of a sudden, the year 2000s, this seems to be the norm, doesn't it? But we're facing this really big problem with mental health at the moment, and I talk about it because I'm on that side. I'm one of those statistics. It's a big word for me to say. I can't say it's a lot of and I don't want to be one of those statistics, but I am, unfortunately. However, the word content was used by me on Friday, and I haven't used that word content in a long time. And I was just sat. I had my best friend round on a Friday night. We were going to go over some stuff for him for his CV, just really gen him up, do a bit of prep. He's got a job coming up that he really wants, and I want him to get it as well. So we were just doing a little bit of that prep, So I had a really busy Friday, and that sort of fed into helping him. And then we celebrated. What were we celebrating? We don't really need a big reason to celebrate much. I've just noticed on this pencil, I was doing some drawing earlier on, and it's interesting. But so sorry, I digressed massively there. I lost my train of thought with the pencil through me, and that's something I want to talk about actually, that I'm learning about myself. And basically, yeah, he came over. We celebrated. We drank gin, and we started talking till I think it was 3:45 when he decided, "Come on, James." Or no, sorry, I tell a lie. I decided, let's go to bed, because it was getting to 4 in the morning, and I'm making a bit of a habit of this thing where I'm staying up till silly o'clock in the morning to drink and talk, but I love it though, and I haven't done that for a long time, because a lot of the time I've been exhausted, I've been tired. But it was nice. We were there talking till 3:45 in the morning, and then even then, when I said let's go to bed, come on, dude, let's go to bed. He was like, "One for the road?" I was like, "It's 3:45, mate. That's at least an hour. That's 5 o'clock, mate. That's not one for the road. That's bollocks for the next 2 days." And yeah, okay, I had a little bit of a hangover on Saturday, but I still managed to get by. It was enjoyable. But anyway, I was sat down talking to him, and we were sat over. We had the Kimnia go in. We were just chatting away, the drinks were flowing, and it was just, we were talking about all sorts, a lot of man talk, a lot of bollocks, but we did get into the nitty gritty of, families and helping each other out, and kids and raising kids, that normal parent chat that you have. And it was nice. And I remember I looked across to him, and we were talking about the garden. We were talking about my garden, and he was like, "Yeah, mate, you've done so well and all this." And I said, and we were talking about moving, and he said, I think he said, do you still want to move? And I was like, yeah, I'd like to move to somewhere a bit more rural, or by the seaside, somewhere like that. That'd be quite nice to me. But that's an ambition. That's a goal to get to aspire to. I said, but you know, for now, I'm content. And he looked at me and went, wow. And I went, what? And he went, I'm so proud. Oh, sorry. I'm so proud that you've decided to. Oh God, what's going on? Sorry, my thing's going a bit funny. It's my camera. I'm just like boop, 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 touching my camera. Sorry. And yeah, he decided to say how amazing that was. He was, you know, he was like, I've never heard you say the word content, and I was like, because I've not been content for a long time. But I can hand on heart say that despite my ups and downs that I have and my emotional roller coaster, I feel content. I do feel happy. And it's nice. Yeah, I have good days, and yes, I have bad days. Normally when I'm tired, normally when I'm a bit wired, you know, or I've done, like I said last week, I've done a full week of a course, ISO 9001, which isn't exactly the most fun course in the world. But I enjoyed the course to a degree. It's a lot of information to take on, but it does wipe me out. So that's normally, but I'm learning to manage that. I'm learning to adapt. I'm learning to go, right, if I'm a bit tired, I need to make sure I get a sleep. If I'm a bit ratty, it's normally because I've been sat at the computer for a long time. So I haven't really given myself, you know, the thought process of getting food and drink in me. So that's normally where my sort of you know, those bits come from, the rattiness. I make sure that I eat breakfast. I make sure I structure my day properly because I'm working from home. So you're not reliant on other people, and like someone goes for a cup of tea and you're in work and you go, oh, go for a cup of tea, and you go, yeah, no worries. So you get up, you go and have a cup of tea. But when you don't have that prompt of going to get a cup of tea for any other reason, apart from the fact that you need get a bit thirsty, well, that can last ages when you're working at home. So I'm learning to adapt all these things and not overwhelm myself. So, but it was really interesting to say that word content, to be happy, to look around my garden and actually see that I was happy in my relationships, happy in my family life. You know, just genuinely just a more content person. And it was nice to feel that relaxed. I haven't felt that relaxed in years, and I mean years. So it's nice to feel it. And it makes all the hard work worthwhile when I feel this, because it's made the last 8 months worth it. It's made from Christmas, where I was crippled and I was, you know, not wanting to be here, and I told you, you know, without keep talking onto it because I don't want to trigger people, you know, but going from that point where I didn't want to be here to completely turning my life around, doing a full 180 and resetting completely, implementing all these new things that I do on a daily or weekly or monthly, depending on what the routine is. And I'm just constantly learning, I'm constantly adapting, and I'm grabbing my mental health. And to endure the struggles of mental health for 11 years, to finally see that I'm chipping away at the blocks and I'm learning coping mechanisms to deal with my ADHD, to deal with my PTSD. So I'm learning these things as I go along. And I'm learning about myself, what works, what doesn't work. That's what's helping me. But at the same time, I've implemented all these things. I've implemented my reflection time. Oh, sorry, hold on. Bear me 2 seconds. My recording pauses for some reason on my thing, so I don't even know where that got to. That was a bit random on the iPad, so it's a bit annoying. So anyway, I digress. Well, I try and sort out my own. I've got to get this whole setup right with this, because I'm doing video now and sound. It's really, really hard for me, and I need the right software, the right hardware. So that's something I'm looking into, something I'm trying to grow into, so I can. I'm not using an iPad and an iPhone. Then I'm using proper materials. I've got the area, the ambiance, as they say, set up in my cabin to talk comfortably. However, I need the right gear to do it. So bear with me where these little technological, I think the word is, glitches, where this stops or that one doesn't. Do you know what I mean? So I'm learning all the time. But to go back to what I was saying, absolutely, the reason that I have become stronger, the reason that I am learning a lot more, is because I'm reflecting. I'm incorporating those reflection times, and I do them absolutely daily. I do them absolutely weekly, and I've got different levels of reflection. So, like, to reflect at the end of the day, I try to incorporate into something fun. So I go out for a walk, I get that kind of freedom, I get around nature, I'm on my own. I've got a bit of music on, which is a key point today, so just remember that word. And what I also do is I then structure it in even more depth, where I go and do this on a Sunday. So I incorporate something fun, I incorporate my reflection to openly talking to you, and then I build that all in, and at the same time as I'm letting it out, and I'm analysing it and I'm processing it all the time. What I am doing at the same time is subconsciously I'm analysing it. So it's working for me. It's given me the ability to understand more about myself. And yes, I do make mistakes, and I will continue to make mistakes. And yes, I get blindsided. For instance, to offer you a little bit of the caveat to this week. I know I'd done a podcast early in the week, but one of the things that sideswiped me is I prepped for an exam. And I did so I was doing a course this week, and as well as a course, I did another course alongside it. And the exam was due this Wednesday, so I had to rattle some things up to get the exam done. However, I failed. Now, the failure is a difficult one for me to take because I learned the system really, really well. I had 40 hours of learning to do about risk management, and the pass mark was 80%. Which is like, I know people are saying, but that's quite a high percentage. They must have a high failure rate, because I knew what I was talking about, and every single time I failed by one. So the pass mark was 16 out of 20. You had to do these written questions, and every single time I got 14. So sorry, I got 14 on the first go, so 70% and 75 roughly, or whatever it was, on the second go, so I got 15. So I failed by 2 and 1, and they were completely different papers that had completely different questions. So I was really disheartened with that. Now, I had to learn to let that go this week, because I knew it upset me on Wednesday when that happened, because I don't like failure, especially when I think I know the subject and I did the subject properly. So that was a clear sideswipe that I wouldn't normally have encountered, but it did. It sideswiped me, so that sort of took me out of the game a little bit in life for Wednesday and Thursday. And then I kind of went, right, snap out of it, fucking get on, mate. You need to just put that aside, deal with that another day, concentrate on this course, because this is the most important one. That was just a little kind of continuous professional development, expensive continuous professional development, but I got a lot out of it learning-wise. I just wouldn't have a certificate. But at the end of the day, certificate's a certificate. As long as I can talk it and as long as I understand it, that's the main thing for me. So that was a little sideswiper. That was a little kind of wipe me out. But I kind of got through the course, and I finished late on Friday. And then that's when I kind of geared in with my mate. And I just had a really good weekend. So I've incorporated these things into my life, and they are working. And I genuinely think that they would work for anybody. If you actually reflected, if you've got a genuine mental health condition and you genuinely want to grasp it, manage it, control it, then the easiest place to start is reflection time. Reflect on your day, reflect on your week, reflect on your month, reflect on an event, whatever you may be, reflect on it. And if you reflect on it, and if you had to say, for instance, you've had a bad day, reflect on the bad day. What really and truly upset you about that day? And then you can decide, well, this upset me. Okay, fair enough. Let's try and avoid that again. Oh, I can't avoid it because it's part of my job, or I can't avoid it because of this. Well, then what you need to do is understand what is upsetting you and try and rectify that job, or rectify that problem, sorry. And what you'll do by reflecting is you'll understand what is upsetting you and what you need to do to control it. So I know for a fact I get sideswiped. I lose. As I learn about my PTSD and I learn about my ADHD, I'm learning that it's really, really difficult. I'm battling anxiety. I'm battling, my thoughts going crazy, and I'm trying to control those sort of things, and I'm trying to bring myself down to a manageable level. So all of these things I'm doing on a daily basis, and I do this purely by going out every single day at the end of the day. Before I do anything, I go out, grab hold of the dog, and we go for a 2K walk. And we just and on that 2K walk, I let him off the lead, and off he goes. He has a great time. And what I then do is I use that time with my music in, and that's the key part today is music, because I want to talk about music. And I put my music in, and then I reflect. And whilst I reflect on the day, I find out how I feel. So always starts in the same rhetoric. Everything starts the same for me. I go out for a walk, and we're not talking a big walk. We're talking 20 minutes max. It's 2K, you know, it's like, what's that? I don't know, 1.25 miles or something silly like that. I don't know. Should know it, but I don't. And then you also could say, well, why should I know it? Well, I don't know actually why I should know it, but you know, it's one of those things. You should know it. I think I'm just used to saying that as a parent. But yeah, so it's not long. I get 20 minutes, but 20 minutes is enough. So I can understand, and it always starts in the same rhetoric. I go for a walk, so I pick my dog up, not pick him up literally, but I grab my dog, I put a lead on him, we go for a walk, I let him off the lead, and once I've let him off the lead, I subconsciously look after him anyway. And then what I do is I just start my reflection process. So that's putting the right music on. So I've got an album that I've created on Spotify. Other music providers are available, but Spotify for me is bloody-tastic. And what I tend to do then is I've got an album that I've created that is just purely about reflection. So it's the right songs that make me think emotionally, make me think happily, make me think. I try to actually gear up as many emotions as I can on my reflection walk is possible in a 20-minute reflection walk, which in the grand scheme of things is about 10 songs, isn't it? So if you get yourself a nice little playlist, away you go. And then what I do is I first off, before I start anything, I body map. So I feel where my tension is. Now, 9 times out of 10, it's in the same place. It's my neck, it's the back of my head, and it's around my sort of temples. And it's around my temples and down the centre of my back, because that's where I hold my tension. I'm very stressed out. So what I tend to do is go, right, okay, because I do this daily, I know what level of tension I've had. So I know that if I've got injuries, so I know that I sit at about a 4 anyway. So I know my pain level that I sit at. And then what I tend to do is I tend to go, okay, well, I'm a bit more tense there and I'm a bit more tense there. So I tend to then process the body map aspect. And with regards to that, then I can feel if I've had more tension, and if I feel I've had a bit more stress or I've got a headache, I'm going, okay, well, what's caused that then? What has given me the ability to be stressed? So I would then reflect on each part of the day, and I break it down to its hour segments, and I go, okay, first hour was okay, second hour was, third hour I met such and such, and this was discussed. So I get to understand what's stressful about my life. And if I've had family stress or partner stress, whatever, you could have had anything, I then process each category. And I actually feel myself, by the end of it, I feel myself relaxing. And then I go into the house and I'm a completely different person, because I've relaxed and I've reflected and I've understood what is good and what is bad about the process. And I can't emphasize on how much reflection is so important. Like I said, my Sunday reflection is like 2 hours long. So on Sundays, I reflect on this for as long as it takes for me to enjoy the process and talk to you. I then sit down and I do my own meditation and personal reflection. So I sit there again and I analyze what I spoke about on the podcasts. I put that into play and practice. And then I just switch everything off and listen to music. And that sort of kind of brings me into music. And the reason I want to talk about it is because I have discovered, and this is through research, and there's a lot of people out there that will go, well, of course, mate, I fucking love music. I know, and I get that. That music is amazing. But I love music. I think music's great. I don't love it as much as some people, granted, but then people don't like Formula One as much as I like Formula One. So we've all got our little areas. However, music in the right context for mental health is one of the most powerful weapons. Who here is listening to this and going, I've got a song that makes me feel happy. I've got a song that makes me feel sad. I've got a song that gets me adrenaline rushed. I used to listen to a certain song when I was on my motorbike, and then, before you know it, you were doing 60 mile an hour maximum on the speed limits. Paul's funny face. And I was laughing at myself. I'm such a tool. But yeah, so it's kind of like I had certain things, and I used to know that if I listened to certain songs, and obviously you've got a wedding song, you've got whatever, prom song or whatever, if you've had a prom, there'll be something that you can relate, and there'll be a song that will come on. And how many times have you heard a song and then you turned around and gone, fucking hell, that's took me back there. That's took me right back there now. I'm right there. How many times have you done that? So what you do, you need to incorporate music into your normal life, but set yourself playlists. And we all do it. If we go to the gym, we set ourselves a gym playlist, real hot, rock heavy stuff. If you're doing weightlifting, you're like heavy rock with metal, and do you know what I mean? If you're doing jog, you want high paced stuff. We all do this with music. We all create a playlist. If you're gonna do cleaning, if you go onto Spotify and type in cleaning playlist, someone's already done the work for you. So type in reflection or meditation playlist in Spotify, and there's some really good stuff that comes up. And it's not about finding a music song specifically that you like, but try and find a genre that you like, and then try and listen outside the box. So I listen to a certain style of song when I'm reflecting, because I like a song that gets me almost on the brink of sadness, but not quite sadness like that. It almost gets me to the point where it gets me so relaxed and so deep in thought that what I tend to do then is I tend to properly reflect on my day. I actually understand it in the right context. I'm not thinking about the day, because what you need to be careful of is if you're listening to a certain type of music, say for instance heavy metal, and you're like, that gets me great, but if you reflect to heavy metal, you're going to turn those negative situations into a more negative situation, because you're going to build up anger for it. You're going to reinforce and underpin that negativity in your head from that person, because you've been listening to heavy rock, like, yeah, fucking I'm going to kill the fuck, literally not like that, but don't do that. But you get the drift of what I'm saying. Whereas if you listen to a bit of, I don't know really, Ed Sheeran, for instance, you listen to sort of that type of music, it might make you think a bit more. But then try and find something a little bit outside the box. So that's why I try to put something on that someone has already created, because it's not music I listen to. But 9 times out of 10, it's the right music, because you've probably got a professional that's created it for you, or someone who uses it for the right tool. Type in mental health and see what comes up. These are all important things to deal with in our playlists, and what they do is if you have the right playlist, you have the right music playing in your ear for this reflection purpose. It's also, to put it in easier terms, you wouldn't exactly go doing yoga to rock, would you? Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't do it. So there is probably people out there go, well, actually, I do. I absolutely love it. I go dogging to rock. I fucking love it. Then fine, that's your key. That's your niche. However, I wouldn't advise it. I'm saying to you, try and find something a little bit more subtle, a little bit more subdued. And then what you can do is utilize that time properly, because it will get you in your headspace. It will get you in the right frame of mind to start reflecting, and then actually think about the reflection process properly. Understanding the goods, the bads, taking the bads away from it, analysing the bads, and then pushing the bads away, trying to avoid them. And then also, what the biggest and the most amazing part for me is the positives. So I pick up on the positives now. Really, really, I try to do that all the time. I try to complete my reflection on positives, because then what I can do is go, that was a fucking amazing day, or that was amazing. And then what I do is I go, okay, that made me feel really happy. And to give you a key example of something that I've done recently is I never thought I'd find a sport that I would enjoy, because I just didn't. I was a down and outer on that. I knew I needed a sport. I knew I needed something fun to do. I just couldn't get myself past the barrier to go, this is what you want to do. Anyway, so I've done golf for 5 weeks in a row now. That's impressive for me. And I absolutely love it, because there's an element of camaraderie in it, teamwork, fun, it's chilling out, and at the same time there's still a bit of competition involved if you really, really want it, self-competition or team competition. So it's a really good sport, and I suppose maybe because I'm hitting those 40 numbers now, that it's become one of those sports that I tend to enjoy. It's relaxing. Like today, I'm tired today because I went and walked, I went and walked 18 holes. So it's really, really, really important that we manage this and we do it properly. And with the right music, you can do that. You can reflect on those positives and have a positive outlook. So I would absolutely advise that you get yourself a playlist. You look at what you can do in your playlist in terms of like, I need it for reflection, I need it for meditation, I need it for this. Get yourself specific playlists for specific things. It's such an easy thing to do, but it's so overlooked. I've never done it. Normally I'll just chuck a few songs in a playlist, or I've got playlist 2022. But what I actually have now is a mixture of playlists that do different things for me. Because there's times where, and this is what I've learned, ADHD is an absolute crippler. And the more I learn about it, the more I can relate to massive, things that have gone wrong in my life because of the ADHD. If I'd have known about this a lot longer, a lot sooner, I would have probably been able to manage it. But it's crippled me. So I'm learning. But what I am also learning is music centers me. It gives me that zen. So I put a little bit of music on in the background, and it takes away the fucking madness and the overthinking, or it takes away the craziness in terms of I need to do this, and this, or just the massive overthinking is a big thing for me. So it takes away that pressure by listening to a little bit of music in the background, and then I get to focus on my work. It's absolutely incredible. And I'm learning the power of music. And there'll be people out there that are listening to this, even friends. I've got my brother is absolute Looney Tune for music. He loves it. I think that he's, hopefully he's already got this dialed in. It's something he's already utilised. But I know he absolutely loves music. I've taken it for granted because I listen to music from the right frame of mind, or, if there's nothing on, I'll put some radio on in the background. But in actual fact, now I don't. I subconsciously come in, I switch music on. In fact, he says subconsciously, but he's been talking about music and he hasn't got it on in the background like he normally does. What a tool! That's because I was so excited to talk to you guys. So normally I have a little bit of music playing in the background, which does distract me for about 30 seconds, and then I'm normally dialed in. But that's the power of music. And that is what you need to do. Find the right playlist, build the right playlist, and then use it on your reflection walks. Use it on your reflection time, but keep up with it. Because one thing I'm seeing myself now, the positives for me, and the reason that I can say the word content, is because I'm looking after myself. I'm doing it myself. I'm not relying on anyone else here. I don't go to groups for this. This can be done by yourself with the right strength and the right will. You can look after your mental health. It's okay to sit there, and I sat there and I endured it. And it's almost become part of my life. Oh, I'm just fucking sad because of depression. It's easy to say I'm fucking sad because of this, I'm sad because of that. Oh yeah, I'm fucking moody. One of those days, it's the fucking depression. It's easy to say it, and it's easy to live by it because everyone just gives you space. But you never build yourself. You're not building yourself up. So what you need to do is incorporate these things. Reflection time, meditation, body mapping, yoga, Pilates. These are all good things, and what they're designed to do is slow you down. Listening to the right music while you're doing these reflection times will slow you down. Doing a chore or a job with music, it makes you happy. The job goes by. We all do it in space and bounds and space. I don't even know if that's a fucking word. I just made that. I literally just made up a word for excitement. But that's what it's about. And you do it subconsciously for the right things, but we don't do it for the actual, in inverted commas, right things, which is our mental health. We don't use it properly. But you can do that. You can absolutely start now. Grab hold of your mental health. And that's one of my reflection pieces for this week is just reflect to a good playlist. Sit down and find the right playlist. Not one that makes you too sad and not one that makes you too happy. Find a nice neutral playing field. Even if it means jumping on and typing in meditation or typing in reflection or typing in mental health, something in a playlist that may have already been created that you can keep taking parts from, that will give you that zone, it will give you that zen, so to speak. And I love that word zen, but it will give you that kind of peace of mind to actually dive into your brain, look at your mind and actually decipher the goods and the bads and positively push the negatives away and positively hold on to the good points. So, and this is what it's about. It's about this. This is, I can't emphasize it anymore. It's literally about helping yourself. If you don't want to help yourself, you're never going to get to this point. I'm at a point now where I'm content with the people that are around me. I'm content with my life. I'm content with moving forward at a slightly slower pace, which is nice. I'm done with education for the moment because I've done 2 years worth of the fucking top level education and it's fucking killed me. So I am starting to slow down and look at the things I can be doing now to enjoy my life rather than just get by. I don't want to sit there and go, oh, it's fucking Tuesday. Oh, it's only Tuesday. Oh, it's Wednesday. Oh, we're hump day. We're on the way down. I don't want to keep saying that. I want to go Wednesday. I'm going to go play fucking golf. Or, you know, work Monday to Friday but have something going on Saturday, Sunday's golf or whatever. It's nice to be able to do these things and say these things. So I want you to absolutely take that away from today. Is when you're doing these reflection walks, and if you're not doing these reflection walks, you should be. And I mean you should be. By now, if you're listening to this, you should have already tried to implement these things for the positives. Grab hold of those reflection walks and make yourself a playlist that you enjoy, that will give you the right frame of mind. We're not talking heavy metal, we're not talking rock and roll, we're not talking, I'm gonna fuck a mom in the bed, ah! I'm not talking about that shit. We're talking about nice, relaxed, zen music with some lyrics to maybe get your thoughts going. Like I said, there's plenty out there. Get that reflection going and start enjoying the reflection time. Start actually reflecting on yourself positively and actually looking at bettering yourself as a complete entity, as a whole person, body map, letting things go and then holding on to the positives from those things, from those daily routines, those weekly routines, however you want to incorporate it, whatever works for your life. Do what works for you. But you need to start doing it. And I absolutely recommend at least 2 to 3 of these walks a week where you are on your own, you are listening to music, and you are looking at your own life. Not doing something, walking, because walking will get you thinking. Not doing an activity because you take your mind away from the thinking process. You need to go for these walks, these reflection times on your own with music, because you will get so much out of it. You'll understand yourself. You might make significant changes. It might empower you to make a significant change. And that's where we're going to start. I'm not going to drone on today because I've had an absolutely epically busy day and I do need to try and relax myself before I go to bed because I've got another busy week. However, the power of music today is the key part for today. The power of music, incorporating the power of music into your reflection times. We do it for the gym, we do it for training, we do it for anything other than what we should be doing, which is reflection time on ourselves. So incorporate that. Listen to this and start doing it. Start taking time for yourself. As he points his bloody pencil at the camera. Start taking time for yourself. At least 2 to 3 days a week. Go out for an hour and look after yourself. Go over your mental health process. Give yourself that little bit of relaxation. It will release those endorphins. It will get your metabolism going because you're doing a nice walk. And it will get you to reflect on the good parts and the bad parts. And it will give you the strength, knowledge and experience to make a change in your own life and actually look at, because we do this. We go by, we just sit and watch our days go by, our weeks go by, our years go by. But when you start reflecting, you go, time's pretty fucking precious, mate. I need to do this. How am I going to do this? I need to do that. And when you reflect on yourself, what's my blocker at the moment? What's stopping me? Well, that might be stopping me. She might be stopping me. He might be stopping me. The kids are stopping me. But why are they stopping me? Actually reflect on these things. And then you might be able to mitigate some of those instances where they do block you, but you can mitigate them enough to give you that free time. And with that free time, you will get the knowledge and experience to move your life forward. I'm going to finish there, but thank you very much for listening to me. I hope you have a pleasant week. I will talk to you about another topic this week. I can't wait. But yeah, overall, I hope you've had an amazing weekend, obviously, as well. Or depending on when you're listening to this, obviously. But I look forward to any feedback. Please like, comment, share, follow. I love it. It's all the good stuff to help me get out there and get me experience. And I'm going to go on the hunt for a camera this week so I can stop with this iPhone thing, but actually try and make it work a little bit better. So thanks for listening. Take care, everybody, and I'll speak to you soon.